So welcome back to the Combustion Masterclass. Today we examine the planet that rules all pleasures, luxury, love, and our capacity for happiness, which is Venus or Shukra. Venus is the great magnetic force in our lives. When it's combust, the powerful heat of the sun, which is the soul and ego, it forces this magnetic energy inward, demanding the purification of your desires and the true definition of your self-worth. Let's talk about when is Venus combust. For Venus to be considered combust, it must be within 10 degrees of the sun when Venus is moving direct, and within 8 degrees when Venus is moving retrograde in your birth chart. Now, to learn how to read your birth chart, click on the links in the video description, the playlist. It will tell you everything on how to read your birth chart, all the 12 houses, 9 planets, everything. So let's go back to the Venus combustion. If your sun is at 2 degrees in the 7th house, then your Venus must be anywhere between 22 degrees in the 6th house, previous house, or it needs to be 12 degrees in the 7th house for the combustion to apply if Venus is at 2 degrees in your 7th house. The key is that it must be within that 10-degree distance of the sun's precise degree. Of course, if you have your chart printed off of a website, of a good reputed website, it will tell you a C or combust next to it, so you'll know whether your planet is combust, whether your Venus is combust. That's another way to find it out. You don't really need to know the degrees unless you're really practicing astrology. So I want to start by asking you some vulnerable yet universal questions. Why do you constantly feel a deep dissatisfaction in relationships, even when they look perfect on the outside? Why does your self-worth seem to fluctuate wildly, tied directly to how others treat you or how much money you have? Have you ever noticed that the pursuit of external luxury feels empty, driving you back towards intangible spiritual joys? Now, if Venus is combust in your Vedic chart, in your natal chart, your soul chose a life where true, lasting happiness and wealth are achieved only through profound internal self-worth and spiritual non-attachment. Well, let's talk about your past life. What's the root of this? What's the karmic root of this material and relational dependency? Let's uncover it. Let's uncover the core spiritual assignment that you're on. So a combust Venus points to a past life where the native severely misused or abused the beautiful energies of Venus by focusing only on the superficial and becoming deeply dependent. You know, in a past life, your ego, which is the sun, allowed the desire, which is Venus, to corrupt your true purpose. Perhaps you engaged in relational dependency and betrayal. You may have used relationships for status, for money, or for emotional control, rather than for pure love. This includes being excessively dependent on a partner, or fearing solitude, or betraying trust for egoic comfort. The karmic cleanup demands that you now face solitude and learn to source love from within. You may have done material misuse and greed. You may have been excessively attached to luxury, wealth, or comfort, neglecting the needs of the soul for fleeting physical pleasures. So the sun now burns away that material dependency, making external displays of wealth feel meaningless in this life. You may have valued the external over the internal. You likely ignored or suppressed the true artistic and spiritual meaning of Venus, focusing only on the appearance of beauty and happiness. So your assignment is to redefine value, to realize that the true masterpiece is your own soul. See, your spiritual assignment is clear when you have Venus combust. The heat of the sun is purifying your capacity to love and receive. You must detox from the illusion that happiness is found externally, forcing you to channel your magnetic Venus energy into spiritual devotion, which is Bhakti, and pure self-generated worth. Now let's talk about the lessons of a Combust Venus and the action plans. The Combust Venus's lesson is to transform relational dependency into unshakable self-worth. So here is your spiritual roadmap, your core lessons, and your actions in this lifetime. Listen carefully. Your lesson number 1 is the practice of non-attachment, which is Vairagya. You must break the cycle of needing external affirmation. What's your action plan? You must commit to practicing non-attachment to the results of relationships and financial pursuits. Do your best, but immediately release the outcome. This protects your self-worth from others' actions. Let's talk about lesson number 2, channeling beauty inward. The artistic and magnetic energy of Venus needs a pure outlet. So your action plan is to channel your creative energy into spiritual art, singing sacred music, or private acts of kindness. The pleasure must come from the act, not the appreciation of the act. Let's talk about lesson number 3, honoring Venus, honoring Shukra. See, Venus connects to beauty, love, and prosperity. You can regularly chant the mantra for Venus, Om Dram Drim Drom Se Shukraya Namaha, or you can also commit to serving the feminine principle, which is volunteering to help women, help children, or artists without seeking recognition for the service. All right, now let's talk about how do you know if this is improved in the latter half of your life. You can look at your D9 chart, Navamsha. It shows the karmic refinement of your relational and spiritual destiny. How do you do it? Well, you look at the sign and the house position of Venus in your D9 chart. Has it moved to perhaps an exalted position, to its own sign of Taurus or Libra, or the 9th house of Dharma? This indicates the soul is successfully integrating spiritual values into love and wealth, moving beyond material dependence. It's tougher if it moves into an enemy sign. So what is the goal here? The goal is that Venus in the D9 expresses its energy with greater stability, loyalty, and commitment to truth, showing that the purification of your desires is transforming your destiny. So what does all this mean? Well, a Combust Venus is not a sentence of lonely or poor life. It is a signature of a soul that's capable of achieving profound, unconditional love and self-generated joy. The spiritual truth is that the sun is refining your magnetic force so intensely that you are becoming a pure channel for divine love. How amazing is that? The karmic lesson is to realize that true love is not about what you get. It is about the purity of what you give. Embrace the heat of the sun. It is burning away the dependency and superficiality of the past so that you can become a magnet for abundance that aligns perfectly with your highest soul worth. So let's go ahead and turn this wisdom into action right now. First, tell me in the comments, what is the one area of dependency, such as needing praise, fearing solitude, relying on one person, that your Combust Venus is forcing you to break? Naming it is crucial. Second, commit to the art of giving. Commit to one selfless act of kindness this week related to Venus, such as beauty, art, or femininity, without telling anyone or seeking any reward. And of course, share this video with anyone who constantly struggles with self-worth or cyclical relationship dissatisfaction. And of course, whichever area you have Venus sitting in, whatever house, is where you're going to face the most of it. So next time, we move on to our most assertive challenge, which is the Combust Mars or Mangal. That's called transforming anger into strategic discipline. This will cover impulsive action, blocked drive, and how to harness your raw power. So hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss the next stage of your combustion mastery. And if you'd like to take a deep dive into your own personal chart, then go ahead and hit the link in the video description or in the About section of this channel. Thank you for watching, and thank yourself for watching. That's all for today.